On Sunday, I just returned from a visit to the DRC. I went to the DRC, Rwanda, the Republic of the Congo, Burundi, and Uganda. I met with the president in the DRC, the president in the Republic of Congo, the president in Burundi, and the president in Rwanda. I left encouraged in some ways and discouraged in other ways, as you can imagine. I feel like that there is unbelievable potential in the area for peace and security and for the killing and the bloodshed to stop. The resources there are just through the roof, tens of trillions of dollars in resources. DRC could be one of the wealthiest countries on the entire planet. But I do believe that certain things have to happen, and I don't know exactly what the answer is to get there. I think that, for this to exist, the Eastern DRC has to be an area where everyone has a vested interest in the safety and security and the ability for foreign companies to come in and invest in the area. And when I say everybody, I mean the DRC, I mean Burundi, I mean Uganda and Rwanda, everybody that's there. We all know right now that the Eastern DRC is a completely ungoverned area. It's like the wild, wild East, right? And I truly believe that there is no ability for the government in Kinshasa to actually control that area right now. They do not have the resources or the ability to really impact what's happening there, and they are actually becoming, in my mind, just another entity there that is trying to take advantage of the resources there and get what they can. And everyone's doing it. We know this, right? We know that the Uganda is bringing minerals in from there. Rwanda's doing it. Burundi's doing it. Everyone is doing it, and there's really nothing there to stop them. I think that the Congolese government has to do a couple of things. One, they have to address the domestic issue, right? There are a large number of people in the Congolese that are not Congolese citizens, that are not treated as Congolese citizens, including most of the members of M23, so on and so forth. Now, M23 is a rebel group, and we know that there's an influence there, and there's a component of the Rwandan defense forces, the Rwandan military. But honestly, M23, with or without Rwanda right now, is pretty much uncontested in the area. They're just doing anything they want right now, and the Congolese military is not even fighting back right now. As a matter of fact, they're just running away ahead of the, M23, or in some cases they're laying down their weapons and they're joining M23, right? So I think that the Congolese government's in a bad position here, but I do believe, it's been a long-standing issue, is my understanding, that there are certain people in the Eastern DRC that are unrecognized as Congolese citizens, and maybe in part because this used to be Rwanda before the lines were redrawn many years ago, and and that used to be part of Rwanda. But I would submit to you that there's a large part of Uganda that also used to be Rwanda as well. And after it's been redrawn, now it's Uganda. Those people were immediately assimilated and treated as Ugandan citizens, but that has not happened in the DRC. And I think that's part of the problem. I think that this domestic issue has to be addressed, that everyone in the region, everyone in the country has to be treated as a Congolese citizen with all the rights and privileges of such. I think that this is a difficult thing to do, but I think at some point the armed resistance of M23 are not going to just put down their weapons and walk away. I think that they are an armed resistance. There has to be an effort somehow to incorporate them into the Congolese military and make them feel like Congolese citizens that are protecting their country, not what's going on right now. I think that that's one of the problems. I think the other problem is that they have the domestic problem, or they have the international problem, obviously, which mainly focuses right now with around the relationship with Rwanda. And I think that there has to be an ability for Rwanda and the president. I talked to Kagame, I talked to Tshisekedi, I talked to both of them, and I think that one of the biggest problems right now is personally they can't get along. And I think that at some point people have to put their personal differences aside. This has to be a region that's beneficial for everybody, that everybody sees profit, and everybody has a reason for that to be an area of stability, right? And I think that, I don't know the answer to this for sure, but the neighboring countries have to benefit from the minerals that are in the Eastern DRC as well, whether that's they have some refining capability, and the minerals are mined there and refined elsewhere, or there's a refining capability in the DRC, refining capability in Rwanda. Everybody has an ability to make some money from what's going on there. Then I think everyone will have an interest in making sure that this is a safe and secure area. They're going to need foreign investment to come in. They're going to need other countries' businesses to want to come and operate there. Right now that can't happen because there's not the required level of safety and security, and there's not the lack of corruption. It doesn't, there's going to be a certain level of corruption everywhere you go. But when I was there, I was shocked at the level of corruption there. I talked to a Swiss company this morning, and they told me that their company was worth something like $18 billion, and they got a tax bill last year for their company for $80 billion, which is ridiculous, right? And so they protested it, and they got it reduced to $1 billion, which is still hundreds of times more than the profits that they make in the year. So they're being taxed at an unreasonable rate. Bribes, obviously, are a big deal. The Chinese can afford to pay the bribes, or they're willing to pay the bribes, and we as the United States are not. Many countries are not willing to do that, so they end up being able to compete without competition. There's a biased justice system as well. You can never be assured that if you go there and you get into some kind of legal disagreement, that it's going to be a fair judgment, and they're going to rule in your favor if you're in the right. There's manipulated exchange rates. There's unreasonable fines. There's evidence everywhere that members of the government and their family are getting filthy rich from what's going on there, while the population there is starving and living in a horrible environment. I think that we have to come up with a way to fix this. I think that until that happens, a lot of this other stuff is not going to matter. I don't know the answer to this, but I would like to get your opinion, each of you. Do you think that in the current situation that we're in, and obviously there's other issues too, I just want to mention too, just for the record, but there are